wonderful. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I didn't hear the last thing you said, I'm sorry. Oh, where I can pick some of, I'll pick up some of them. Go to iTunes and just type my name, Janet, Janet. Don't get Janet Jackson because my last name is Kuypers, rhymes with hyper, Kuypers, and you would be able to find a lot of them right there. Actually, if you go to, just searching on iTunes online. Amazon also has a bunch as well. You can just search for my name on iTunes or Amazon. Also, if there is on scars.tv, that site, there is a link that says CD book sale. If you click on it, it shows lots of collection books and stuff, but in the side it says, click here for all the stuff of Janet Kuypers. And you will find links for all the iTunes or Amazon links for CDs, and as well as a lot of Amazon links for a lot of books. In the early days, I didn't use, that's all on the CD, on the CD book sale link. You just check out stuff from Janet Kuypers. It's a link all through scars.tv. Yeah. Favorite works I like to have in people's hands? Oh. Well, you'd have to buy one of the select few copies from me because I don't know if it is available for internet sale. But back in, I believe, '04, I released 25-year collection book of my poetry up to then. The poem that you heard at the beginning, The Burning, is in that as well. It's called Oeuvre. It is just a collection of my stuff. It can be purchased through me. You can write to me to ask me about it. If you're looking for things that you can just pick up on Amazon right now, I'm looking around to think of what I've got here. I believe the 17 years after that, I released a couple of poetry collection books, and the one with shorter pieces is called Partial Nudity. And you can find that one online, and there's a picture of me with a big bar over me, and it looks like I'm naked. I'm not, but it's a picture because I'm revealing a part of myself to you with the poems. So if you're interested in something like that, I would also say that newer things of me that are coming out right now, no offense, I think you bought a copy of this book in depth. It's a really short book, but it tells you, and it includes pieces and interviews and editorials that really span and cover a lot of the issues that I've gone over my life, which, as I noted in the beginning, includes that acquaintance rape workshop facilitator information with that poem, The Burning. There are pieces about love and pieces about death and pieces about 9/11 and even the total solar eclipse that happened recently, because somebody was asking me all sorts of questions along those kind of lines as well. So that one has a good well-rounded grasp if you wanted to know a lot about me in a short book. It's not packed with tons and tons of poems, but that tells you a lot about me as well. And if you happen to like color photography, I'm going to have to say that you should be checking out the books that came out at Christmas in July, 2 books of photography from Antarctica. They are pricier, but that's because they're full color photography books. One is called Antarctica Wildlife, and that one has select poems at the end, which I read at the last show, poetry show that was at the Baha'i Faith Center here in Austin. But it has tons of photos of, well, mostly different sorts of penguins, but all sorts of amazing animals, and it's a really beautiful coffee table book to be able to have. And that is one of the 2 books. If you don't want poetry at all, you can check out the other one, which is called Antarctica, Earth's Final Frontier, and it is a ton of amazing shots of scenery that will never be seen again just because of the changing weather and icebergs and glacier falls and temperature changes. So that is from actually the first of the season, 2018 season of A Trip to Antarctica, with a lot of photography. So if you're looking for something like that to be able to keep around, that I think is one that has, if you are into photography, is a really amazing collection to be able to keep. How long? 10 days, I believe. I believe it was a 10-day trip. Because of work, we couldn't stay for a 14-day trip, but since we took a 10-day trip, we were able to spend time in South America, both before and afterward, which was really cool to be able to do as well. To be in Buenos Aires and to be sightseeing there and be able to spend time there as well was really phenomenal. I believed, because I won't sell you details about how I happened to have the money to pull that off, but it was a one-time thing, and I thought, this is something that we should do. They keep talking about how sea levels are rising and these Arctic areas might not be around. Looking at it and learning about it, we find that more of the issue is actually in the Arctic region versus the Antarctic region, but there are still so many changes that I thought this is a one time that I'd be able to check this out and see it. So we went on a trip to hike through lots and lots of snow, to photograph lots and lots of animals and tons of beautiful scenery. It was absolutely amazing. They're all searchable by my name because I put my name in them for my own readings. As a Chicagoan, I was running an open mic that was there at the cafe and then at the Gallery Cabaret, and I decided to make that open mic be something where I would record. At first, in the beginning, when I couldn't have that much stuff, I would record features, because we had a feature every time, or the intro and whatever poems I might share at that. But because I've done more and more stuff with YouTube, I was able to then have the entire open mic, and I would post that up as podcasts as well as YouTube videos, and that went swimmingly well. It was absolutely amazing. I was stunned because I asked my engineering husband if he could check out, can he actually research to see how many downloads of these poetry pieces for the podcast actually went through. Could you find that out? And so he looked at it and he figured it out, and he said, well, once we get rid of spammers and the like, it looks like one is downloaded every 45 minutes, 24/7. I mean, that's the rate. And I was like, really? People are actually downloading it that often? It completely blew my mind. So I was thrilled with that, and it was a shame that I had to, leave Chicago and leave that open mic and leave the chance to be able to do that. So we had to close that up in 2015. But in the move here, I have been guest hosting open mics occasionally, but otherwise I just would be going to open mics and reading. And because I don't run the open mic, and because of violations with people, blah, blah, blah. I was able to say this as a host. If you have a problem with this, let me know. But I don't do that since this is not my open mic. So since I have all of the equipment, since I've done it in the past, I just record myself when I go to open mics. And I put up videos almost every day. So at least keep that going. So gotta keep myself out there so people know I actually still exist. Oh, okay. Let me think. I've got a book here. Since I work with cc&d, I would have poetry in it every month, but I also have chapbook releases. So I did a compilation. This is a volume 5 compilation. This book was out this year, and it is called On the Edge. It just sounded like a good name. Actually, it was related to one of the chapbook releases, which is of periodic table poems, because I decided to write a poem for every periodic table, or for every element in the periodic table. And there are a number of poems in here of those tables, but this is a really short one from a past issue of cc&d, and it is called Painted Buddhas. When in Beijing, I saw a wooden wall with many rows of tiny, sculpted, painted Buddhas. Some Buddhas had their heads torn off, and I thought, And that is all there is to that. I'm not hearing you. I hope you were able to hear me, because I cannot hear you. Oh, perfect. Now I got you back. It's that phone cord of mine. I've got a terrible phone cord for my phone. Pfizer. My husband works for pharmaceutical industries, and in the beginning of the millennium, Pfizer came along and bought out his company, and he was out of a job because they decided to shut down his plant. So he went to work somewhere else, and he worked there for years, and newsflash, Pfizer bought out that company too, and John's an engineer, and he's like, you're not going to need more engineers, they're not going to want me around. So the company he was working for, they said, well, yeah, they're going to be buying us for that, but here there happens to be a plant in Austin. We make a third of the saline IV bags for hospitals in the plant. There's no way they're closing this plant down. We would like you could get a pay raise. Would you like to come here? And so John said, well, I'm either unemployed and we can't afford our home in Chicago, or we move to Austin. So therefore, ergo, we are here in Austin. So it was a job issue. So that was the only reason. I miss my Chicago. I try to visit it, but it's never enough. A little, very little. I mean, it goes on. I've sung, actually, we had a paid acoustic show, me and my husband, at a wine bar in Round Rock, which is a suburb just north of Austin, where we did a 2-hour show. They were impressed that I didn't even take a break during it, and I said, well, I can breathe between songs, I'm good. so I mean, I've done that. I have not been that involved with seeing multiple local artists. I've seen open mics for music that I have been a part of with my husband, because he is the guitarist and he loves playing songs and loves playing his guitar. And actually right now he's starting to learn how to play the piano as well, but he's not bringing a piano along to any open mics or any music shows. So I've probably done poetry a lot more than doing music here, so oddly enough. No, I did. No, I actually, I think most Austin people try to avoid it because it's a crazy mess here. And I did a thing at a place that was sponsoring Austin City Limits stuff. I did a poetry I did actually an hour and a half long poetry show, or a music show, at a bookstore in Austin, and I did that, but it was just me doing that, so yeah, it was very, very not like the whole big crazy scene downtown, nothing like that.